Hi, and welcome to Danny After Dark. If you're new here, make sure to like and subscribe so you don't miss a notification or a new episode. Tonight is the weekly True Crime and Chill. Mr. Beckham will be joining, but before he comes in, let's go ahead and get the administrative stuff, and I totally butchered that, out of the way. So, if y'all missed last night's book review, oh my gosh, I had so much fun reviewing that book with y'all. It was Malice in Wonderland. So go back, check that out. And yeah, it was so engaging with you guys and I had a really good time. Stay tuned because there will be a special show in a couple of weeks about the Wonderland case, and that is all I will say for now. So stay tuned for that. I will be putting up a poll for a few book selections for September book club. So stay tuned for that. My plan was to get it done today, and then life got super busy. But I will put that up this weekend, and then we will vote and see what next month's book club brings. In regards to other things, and again, I should have done this first. All of my information is in the drop down bar below. The Instagram link, if you are not following me there, TikTok, Cameo, the merch store, all of that fun stuff, my email address, so on and so forth, all in the description bar below. So check that out if you are not following me on all those platforms, and Facebook as well. I don't post as much there. Instagram's really the place where I'm constantly on that, to be honest. But nonetheless, follow me on all social media platforms. Crime Story Fest. Crime Story Fest is coming. Oh, it's so soon. It is so soon. So get your tickets if you are in the New England area. And if you are not and want to make a special trip, come on down. There will be a Danny After Dark live show there on stage. Mr. Beckham will be there. The Liz will be there joining me on stage. So you do not want to miss this. The topic for the show is already picked. The notes are in the works, and I am really excited for what we'll be discussing. So if you're in the area, get your dang tickets. You can get day passes. You can get a weekend pass. Just get the weekend pass and come every single day. Friday, Saturday, Sunday. It's going to be fun. Just get it all. Other than that, there is another secret project that I have been behind the scenes working on. In a few weeks, I will finally be able to share that with you guys. I am so excited, like so excited. It's a really cool collab. I will leave it at that. But your girl's so excited. So keep an eye out because there will be something in the next few weeks explaining more. So I see a few people in the chat. Paulcast, I'm glad you're here. I was going to show something. Not exactly. That type of thing, it's not my vibe. That's more Paulcast vibes, I will say. James Watson, hello. Denji90, I just watched the 2001 documentary about the Wonderland case, all thanks to your live last night. Love that. What did you think about it? What did you think? Oh, okay, you already answered. I nearly died at the documentary. Yeah. Social media is nothing but psychops propaganda anymore. K-Dog, well, hello, welcome. Social media, yeah, is as much as it kind of reminds me of YouTube in regards to there's so many positive things, but like with everything, there's so many negatives. So yeah, I mean, I totally 100% hear you on that. There's a really good podcast on the Wonderland murders based on Malice in Wonderland with interviews with some cops and players. Paul, thank you for sharing that. If you know the name, can you put it in the chat for people to reference? That would be great. Paul, I wish you were in the chat last night because I know you like the Wonderland case, and I feel like you would have. Paul, it was so. Everybody was so interactive with it. It was a really good time. 100%. That is spot on. Well said. 100%. Hi, Karen Diamond. Welcome. Everybody's doing well. Thank you. Before I forget, because I have them right here. So When I went to Canada a few weeks ago to visit Fiddle and Paul, stop it, James. I have my old mic. Yes, you do. Yes, you do. It's so funny. Traveling to another country and then across across the country to go visit Fiddle and Paul. And yes, I'm saying in that order for a reason. Because who the fuck is Paulcast? But it's like I traveled all that way and it's like, what were the highlights? Cats in a bookstore. And it was the best time ever. So yeah, Fiddle was just like, Danny, there's a bookstore. Let's go to the bookstore. I think you're going to love this bookstore. And like Fiddle, yes, yes. I can't believe I only bought 3 books there. I can't believe I only bought 3. Fiddle bought more books than I did. But that's a whole nother conversation. But anyway, so I didn't tell you guys the books I got. So I had to consult with Paul on this because I'm like, oh, I don't have this book. Should I get this book? And of course, he's like, Danny, get the damn book. I got this. Love and Terror, The Helter Skelter History of the Manson Burners by Claudia Verhoeven. So, very excited about that. I got 2 Canada books, which I'm very excited. I'm very, very excited. And it's funny because when I was at the bookstore, that specific store, the true crime section, it could have been bigger. It could have been bigger. But I digress. I also owned most of the books. I'm going through, I'm like, have it. Do you guys know Big Bang Theory when they go to the comic book store almost every single episode and they're flipping through the comics and they're like, got it. That was me. I'm like, got it. Going through like shelf after shelf. It was on the one hand, I felt so accomplished. I'm like, yeah, I have all these. On the other hand, I'm just like, oh my God, how much money have I spent on books? But that's okay. I got this book. I'm really excited for this one. It's Highway of Tears, a true story of racism, indifference, and the pursuit of justice for missing and murdered Indigenous women and girls by Jessica McDiarmid. I'm really excited to read that. I saw that and I was just like, grabbed it right away. And then the third book I got, I was not familiar with this case, so I look forward to reading it because it's very victim-centered. It is this book, The First Survivor, Life with Canada's Deadliest Mass Shooter, by Lisa Banfield with Sherry Aikenhead and Maureen Banfield. So I'm really excited to read that. So those were the 3 books that I got. Do I still have a stack behind me of books that I haven't even touched yet? Absolutely. But this is what your girl does. So yeah, very excited. Very, very excited to read those. Are you going to take this long to pick out a t-shirt to wear? Huh? No idea what you're talking about. That's more of a Beckham question, but that's more of like, Beckham, what candle are you lighting tonight? Is that why you're almost 10 minutes late? Type of thing. The Wonderland Murders and the Secret History of Hollywood. Thank you, Paul. I'm going to star that so that people can reference that if they have any questions and know where to find it. So, all right. Again, Beckham will be here soon, but we can jump in. K-Dog, no. We're just going to look that up together. I started to write K-Dog in my search engine. Please say no. Oh, I can't. So I'm getting a different killer. That's coming up. Nope. All right, I forgot the word files. That's why. Oh, dear God. A Sarah Boone production. That's my word, so that's not what it says here. This documentary will explore the case of Sarah Boone, convicted, oh God, of Jorge Torres. So, because I love y'all, when that comes out, I will watch it. but we will discuss it because if I have to suffer, so do all of you. And that will be one that, yeah, if you guys want to, like, I feel like we all have been talking about this case for so long. I'm going to make Beckham watch it too and review it with me because, yeah, if I need to suffer, so does he, because that's what friendship is, right? If I suffer, so do you. I'm gonna star that so I remember. But oh my god, K Dog, you like slightly just brought down my mood for the weekend. I'm not gonna lie. Let me rein that back. It's not you, it's Sarah Boone. Because you know there's gonna be a lot of interviews with her in regards to her police interviews, court. Like, oh god, we gotta relive this again. Let's get back to my happy place. On the murdered and missing Indigenous women is a big subject here. Oh my God. Oh, is that where you're from? Is Canada? When you say big subject here in Canada, I just assume you're in Canada. And you might have said that already and I just totally forgot. Paul, was it the first time I came to visit or the second? Where there was, I actually saw, because Paul for so long had been telling me about like the red dresses on the side of the highway. And like for so long he's just like, I see them. And so I went to visit and at first like I didn't see any of them. And then at one point we were out driving around and I saw one and Paul was with me, well obviously because I don't have a car there in Canada to drive. And then Fiddle was there. Was Fiddle with us at the time? I can't remember, but either way, I actually got super emotional because I'm just like, oh my God, like I didn't expect that. I did not expect how emotional I got seeing one of those dresses just for like what it stood for. Yeah, it was a lot. Hi Brian. HBO making show on the Louisiana Shaken Baby. Yes. Yes, I have been. When did that news break, Brian? I think it was last week. I have a lot of feelings about that. But yeah, that case, I don't think a lot of people know about that case. I feel like, oh God, I hate to say this. The younger generation of people into true crime might not know about that case because it's much older than a lot of the more recent ones, like maybe 10, 15 or so years old. So, like, I hope it covers it in the right way. I'm not sure. But yes, I did hear about that, Brian. Newfoundland. Gotcha. K-Dog's taking a fishing trip to Lake. Stop it. Stop. I can't. I've already messaged like so many people about that. Okay, Beckham just came backstage and then left. I don't know. That might be a blessing and a curse. So, all right. I'm just going through. Where do we start? Because it's like a lot of these, I'm just like, oh, I want Beckham's expertise. All right. So while Beckham's coming in, so let me just throw this one at you guys. It is a Worcester, Massachusetts one that has been in the news. So actually, Brian, I'm curious if you've heard about this one because you're New England too. So, a police officer. So police officer Kurt Solomon was found deceased in his home on April 18th. And then his wife, Karen Solomon, was missing. And the public was asked to keep an eye out and to contact police if they saw her. It was then announced that Karen was actually being charged with assault and battery with a dangerous weapon in the death of her husband. So that really changed things. I remember like each day when the news was being announced on like Boston.com, Boston Herald, and it's just like, oh shit. So on Monday, so this past Monday, the body of Karen Solomon was found in the woods behind a rehabilitation hospital by 2 employees, and a handgun was found near her body. So the investigation is believed to be a murder-suicide. So just a little bit about Kurt. So Kurt Solomon, a former U.S. Army veteran, had been a member of the Worcester Police Department for 31 years. Karen Solomon was the founder and president of First Help, a nonprofit that advocates for mental health of police officers. So this is one where I feel like there's so many questions as to what happened and what drove Karen to commit this murder suicide. I feel like as quickly as it was in the news with like constant posts of like, if you see something, now this, now she's the suspect, now she's being charged, and now the body's found. And then her body was found and it just like disappeared. I have really not heard much. I mean, I've seen in like some posts where there's like some talk of like, it could have been this, it could have been that. Nothing definitive, so I'm not going to sit here and say rumor has it, so on and so forth. But with that being said, with a murder suicide, we really might not even get the answers to what happened. And it's just so, so tragic. But I feel so bad for the family. Like, it's just heartbreaking all around. But yeah, that's a local case that just hit. And look what the cat dragged in. Hello, Mr. Beckham.
Hey, what's going on? This is different now. It's not linking. It's not syncing me into Google, YouTube. I don't know.
I don't know what to tell you.
Hmm.
Yeah, Brian, 6-day woman hunt. Yeah, it was. It was very.
StreamYard is different.
StreamYard changes every day.
Yeah, it's streamed. It's. I had to sign. Like I had to log in, and they gave me some kind of code, and it's all different or something. I don't know. It's not logging through. What do you call it? YouTube.
Oh, weird. See, I go in a different way than you, so Karen Diamond says, "Hello, Mr. Beckham. Hope you are well."
Hello. Yeah, it's different. So sorry. Let me just.
No worries. Every single day I get an email.
It's different now or something. I don't know. It's not the same.
Dude, every day StreamYard sends an email or like an update post. Like, this feature, now we're changing this, we're changing that.
Oh, okay. Well, yeah.
It's annoying as hell. Like, the saying, if it ain't broken, don't fix it. Like.
Well, yeah. I mean, it didn't log me through. It didn't log me through YouTube. So like, I had to type in Mr. Beckham in there. So it took away the picture. It took away the logo.
Wow. You know what? You should complain and be like, do you know who I am?
I don't know, man.
Well,
there's no logo. I don't have a thing. There's no picture on the thing. Look, there's no like.
I know. You look naked.
Oh, Jesus. What the frick?
Beckham's all flustered. Besides YouTube, like, how are you doing?
What the hell? It's weird.
All right, let me say this for a fifth time. Besides YouTube, how are you doing?
Fine. All right, close your thing out. I want to see if you have like Danny After Dark. I want to see if your thing is there.
So go off video?
Yeah, just real quick. Yeah. You see, how do you keep your thing?
I'm the host. I don't know what to tell you.
Oh man.
You might have to do like some update your picture after the show. Or something. Beckham, it's fine. Or why don't you be on camera and show your beautiful face to the public? He leaves. I didn't bounce him. I'm not gonna. That was totally him leaving on his own accord. Oh boy. Between my sound yesterday and this, I went back and listened to after trying out that microphone. Oh my gosh. At first I was like, I turned my volume up a little bit and I was like, not a big deal. And then when it switched over to my new mic last night, I was like, holy shit, that's loud. Like, yeah. Y'all were spot on to be like, Danny, the sound. And by people, James Watson, you were the first one to bring it to my attention. So thank you. I don't usually thank you much, but thank you. So, all right. Oh, damn it, Beckham. All right, let's do this one. We're going to go into Lindsay Clancy. So, disclaimer, again, it involves the murder of her children. We're not going to be talking about like the kids specifically. So like, I feel like I need to give that like uncomfortable. If you need to bounce, then bounce, like handle this with care. We're not getting into that right now. There is two things that I want to talk about with this case. And shout out to friend of the show, Brian, for keeping your girl on notice, up to date, anytime there was anything with this case that was happening this week. So I know I've told you on the side, but so incredibly appreciated. Thank you so much. This week with work, it's like I go in and I have my little earbud and I'm just like, okay, all right, I'm going to be up to date. And then don't you hate when work gets in the way? Like, work gets in the way. So it's like meetings and this, and then it's like, oh, hey, there's this. And then I'm like, ah. So it just pulled away. And then I was super sick Tuesday night into Wednesday, like so sick. So missed work on Wednesday. It just threw me like, so I didn't even listen to any of it on Wednesday. So I'm like wicked playing catch up, like, oh my God. Like it was a whole process. But Brian kept me up to date with like, this is happening now, this is happening, this is happening. So thank you. But with that being said, there is one thing that went viral that I'm fine talking about this without Beckham on camera right now because it's just it's a little gossipy thing, but it went freaking viral. And Brian, if you were in the chat, I am curious about your thoughts on this because we did not discuss this. And by the way, anybody feel free to message me on the side with like these cases. I love it. Love it. You know, Renee, I know Renee's not here in the chat right now, but like there have been cases where like Koberger, she was like, oh my God, keeping your girl just like up to date. Like I had to like run an errand and I legit was in line in a store. I think it was when something with Koberger. Was it Koberger? Or it was a verdict about something, and it wouldn't have been Koberger. I forget, but there's been several cases Renee keeps me up to date on. And there was one, I was literally in line about to check out. She's like, news break, this is happening right now. And I'm like, oh my God, my hands are full of stuff. Like it was wild. But point being, I love when you guys have an interest in a case, and especially when I do too, and we chat about it. It's like, what do you think about this? What do you think about this? Because as much as we kind of talk about that here on the show, like I'm not going to spend like 40 minutes being like, here's my opinion on this. Because it's like, but like behind the scenes, it's like messaging. It's like we can break down like the little nitty gritty things of what's happening. Like, oh, this just happened. Oh my God, what do you think about this? What do you think of this? That type of thing, right? So anyway. All right. Beckham, welcome back.
I don't know what's wrong, dude. It's going to bother me the whole time.
We'll just stay on camera and deal with it tomorrow.
There is no tomorrow with this crap.
For Christ's sakes, Beckham.
I thought I had figured it out,
Dog,
but I guess it
Lindsay
didn't.
Clancy. So the one I was going to get into is I did not expect this. So a journalist, Brittany Romano, has gone viral this week, and not in a good way. Not in a good way. So for anybody who has heard about it, or if you haven't, you can go watch the clip online for yourself. Just type in journalist Brittany Romano. One, you can find her Instagram account, and then two, you're going to find the clips that's gone viral of where she's being dragged. So yes, but it's not just the smile. Brian, it's not just the smile. I don't care about the smile. But yes, her. So she is the woman that's in the green dress who is at the center of a viral video seen not just smiling at a camera on Monday during the Lindsay Clancy trial this week. She was winking at the camera. She was winking and smiling. As a result, she has been dropped by Vanity Fair magazine that she was credentialed to cover the trial for. So before I get a little bit more into the statements that have come out about this, I watched the video over and over and over again because I'm like, all right, let me watch it from different perspectives because I can very easily just like decompartmentalize and watch. The smiling thing, it wasn't this big overt smile in my opinion. We will talk about the statement that Lindsay put out. I'm sorry, not Lindsay, my apologies. That Brittany put out. And like she talks about being nervous and not knowing. I'm like, all right, like I can understand that. I'll meet you halfway there. It's the wink. It's the wink where I'm like, no, girl, you crossed the line with the wink. All right, there's not much I want to say, but let's get into it. So Vanity Fair then made a statement saying, quote, "We were interested in the prospect of a personal essay by Brittany Romano about her experience growing up with Lindsay Clancy," because she did. "Yesterday, after clear conflicts with our editorial standards and processes, we informed Romano that we were not moving forward with her essay and informed the court that she is no longer credentialed by Vanity Fair," end quote. So Brittany then spoke with Fox News Digital saying she, quote, never had a contract, end quote, with Vanity Fair as she worked as a freelance journalist assigned for the specific project. So Brittany then took to Instagram on Tuesday to do a long post. I have the whole thing damn typed out.
Yeah.
You know what? I'll read it. I'll read it. So she says, and I want to hear what you guys think about it. Quote, a smile is not a smile. Telling a woman to slit her wrists is. For 2 years, I have fought to cover the Lindsay Clancy case honestly because at its center is a mother accused of killing her 3 children during postpartum psychosis. And because the conversation around her around her spent that whole time swinging down between calling her a monster and asking for what actually broke inside her. Women's mental health was never a side note in that coverage, it was the whole point. Yesterday, I smiled in court for 3 seconds, and TMZ pulled the footage from Court TV's feed and turned it into 2 articles about me on the same day Dolly Parton died. I smile through anxiety. I smile when I'm uncomfortable. That is not indifference. It is a nervous system managing strain the only way it knows how. Cry in a woman is dramatic. Smile and she doesn't care. Stay composed. Something must be wrong with her. We decide the meaning first and spend the rest of the time making her prove it. And that is the identical logic that has followed Lindsay for 2 years. I was not alone in that frame either. Lauren from Netflix was laughing beside me, and Karen, a local blogger sitting beside me, had her head on my shoulder, and neither of them drew a single article. Only my expression became news. None of that reflex is abstract to me. I grew up in the same street as the Musgroves, and when my own mother's bipolar disorder made my childhood home unsafe enough that DCF removed her, the Musgroves house was where I felt safe. I live with my own mental health struggles too. I went back to Vanity Fair last week for a specific reason. They gave Patrick Clancy a platform to tell his version when this case first broke, a version that now conflicts with his own sworn testimony. I wasn't asking for a favor. I was asking them to rebalance the scales. I am a credentialed freelance journalist, Vanity Fair allegedly told TMZ they revoked my access over the smile, which is absurd since I never had a contract with them for a piece to begin with. Newsweek has DM'd me multiple times and Inside Edition found my private cell number. I've been told repeatedly to take accountability and apologize when I have nothing to apologize for. We're almost done. What I've actually received are messages telling me to slit my wrist, threats to kill me in my sleep, and a resource of ways to kill myself sent by people who claim they are defending Lindsay's mental health. If you actually believed a woman's mental health mattered, you would not hand another woman a method, you would not treat her suicide as a punishment, and you would not claim to protect one woman's humanity while stripping another woman of hers. A smile is not a crime. A human moment surviving a hard day is not an invitation to destroy someone. Cover the case, cover the verdict, cover the family. This was always about that, and leave my expression out of it, end quote. All right, that was a long thing. Beckham, what are your thoughts?
Man, again, like people are coming after her for the Miss Mental thing, man. It's hard for me to really, like I said, I kind of stay away from. This is just the chips are gonna fall where they're gonna fall with this case, but I know that she's got this crazy look, man, these crazy eyes look, right?
We're not talking about Lindsay right now. We're talking about Brittany Romano, the reporter.
I'm sorry. I thought we were talking about. Oh, hold on.
Nope, not yet.
I'm sorry. I was reading, and I thought that's where I was.
You were trying to solve the issue on YouTube.
Huh? No, I thought I saw you were reading on the thing. I'm sorry. Where is that on the thing?
It's called Lindsay Clancy 2.
Ah, God. Okay, sorry.
No, that's okay. That's okay.
Oh, I'm sorry. I see that. Okay, I thought that was a whole different case. Okay, got it. Still, same thing. So,
a man of many words, Mr. Beckham. No, with that being said, again, I watched the video over and over. The smile thing, I feel like the way it's being portrayed is like this huge ass smile. No, it wasn't. It was small, in my opinion. That did not bother me. It was the wink. It was the wink coupled with the smile, but mostly the wink. With that being said, I feel like there was a lot of like, look over there, look over there, look over there, and I didn't like that. Like pointing like Dolly, this is the same day Dolly Parton died. Okay, leave Dolly Parton out of it. But she points out other people saying, I wasn't alone in that frame. Lauren from Netflix, Karen, a local blogger. So when I watched the clip over and over and over, and I'm like,
Yeah, but it's still the same thing. It's still involving the same overall.
there was one woman behind Brittany that smiled.
Yeah, I
Okay.
mean,
The two other women were looking over at the woman smiling. So for her to be like, well, she was doing this and she was doing this and nothing, I'm like,
no, like,
no,
I
no one
mean,
was laughing in the clip I saw. Either way, it was
are you
just
freaked
like,
out about are you freaked out about their looks?
no, this became a big news thing, and I'm just like,
Because Lindsay has this look, man. Like, you know what I mean? Like,
we're
she
not
really.
talking about Lindsay right now.
I know, but still, it's still in the same. It's the same, but they all have like, yeah. I don't even know why this is a thing, but it is, I guess.
Okay, I agree with you on that.
That's what I'm saying. That's
I
where I'm
agree
going.
with you on
Yes.
that. She knows Lindsay. She grew up with Lindsay. So there's photos of her that have been released, photos of Brittany and Lindsay together
Yeah,
as
she
kids.
does, right. And they all have these weird they all have these stares and
Yeah,
smile and all
right.
this thing going on. And that's the reason why, that's what I'm saying, Danny. That's what I've been saying since I started this point, was that it's been a thing. I've seen it before. I've seen it out there, and that's just like, to me it's like, what are y'all talking about? It shouldn't be an issue, but it's like somebody's making it an issue. And you're agreeing with me.
Yes. And that is such a rare thing. It feels weird and
That's what I'm
disgusting.
saying. That's what I was trying to say. So I
Um,
was on the right case. I was trying to make that point, but I get it. Sorry.
I can see how TMZ made it a thing, and so
They make
people
everything a
messaging and
thing.
posting saying, "Oh my God, kill yourself, slit your wrist." If she was really getting those DMs, like y'all not cool. Like I can look at it and be like, "Girl, you shouldn't have winked at the camera," and then be on my way.
I get that. If that shouldn't have happened, if
Yeah,
whatever. Right.
but I'm not saying here being Brittany. You need to apologize. You need to this. You should
Right.
like no,
Sure.
no. But
Right.
it sucks that we're in a society where like if she's getting those messages, like that's fucked. People, come
Yeah.
on, get
Right.
a fucking life. But at the same time, like, yeah, the wink, the smile thing, whatever. It was the wink. I'm like, girl, what are you doing? But at the same time, I've had those moments with you. I've had moments on YouTube where it's like, not my brightest moment. And you learn from it and you move on. So, give grace, give that, so on and so forth. But at the end of the day, oh, I'm sure, Brian, I am sure. I'm sure a lot of them are. I'm sure a lot of
Dr.
people are.
Mac. Dr. Mac.
But all right, so that's actually a great segment into the next thing. So thank you, Brian, for putting that. All right. So Lindsay Clancy. So this week it's been slow, but with that being said, it's because the prosecution and the defense rested earlier this week.
Everybody's
The rebuttal
resting,
case
man.
and testimony
Jesus.
happened and is over. So to recap, the prosecution called over 70 witnesses, arguing that Lindsay, quote, acted intentionally, rationally, and swiftly, end quote, when she killed her children. They argued she still knew right from wrong at the time, pointing out that she sent her husband Patrick out to run errands while she killed the kids. Then she woke up in a hospital. She was, quote, horrified, end quote, and asked for an attorney. The defense, to recap, called 10 witnesses and argued that Lindsay was a good mother who suffered from postpartum psychosis. They pointed out in the months leading up to January 2023, Lindsay had been prescribed over a dozen psychiatric medications and several times checked herself into a hospital to treat her depression, anxiety, insomnia, and suicidal thoughts. So, closing arguments, jury instructions, and deliberations were next. Each side had up to an hour for closing. Is the jury still in session? So they're done for the day. Disclaimer and what's it called? When you don't want to give the ending away. oh God, I'm blanking on the word. You know what I'm
What do you
talking
mean
about.
when you don't want to give the
You know when someone's talking about a movie and you're just like, so you don't spoil
the
it.
conclusion?
Spoiler,
No.
spoiler.
Spoiler.
That's
Oh,
the
okay, got
word.
it. Spoiler. Okay.
The jury has it. They've had it since yesterday. They were sent home at the end of the day today. They are still deliberating. Disclosure, that word too. Thank you. Um, so with that being said, I re-listened to opening statements from both the prosecution and the defense. So I can't, oh my gosh, I listened to the closing arguments and I'm
Yeah.
like, all right. And then I went back and re-listened to the opening to be like, okay, here's what they're ending saying, but this is what they said in the beginning. More so the prosecution, because it's their burden to prove if she's guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. Did they make their case? Beckham, did you listen to any of the closing arguments or anything by chance?
No, I didn't have a chance to. Sorry.
Okay, that's fine. Um, so what I will say is for the defense, let me start there. Reddington, amazing. I love him. He he rubs people the wrong way. He gets a lot of hate and I don't get it. He's a damn fucking good defense attorney. Like, you know, like Alan Jackson's amazing. David Yannetti's amazing. Bob Alessi's amazing. Like, there's so many great attorneys. If I needed a defense attorney, he's on my list too. He's that damn good. He was, I would say, annoyed, frustrated, but that was part of his shtick with giving his closing arguments. He at points like, I wrote in my notes threw items down, but it was more like a gentle slam of like, oh, this evidence, yep, they didn't prove that. Like, he was very theatrical in that way. And I actually thought it was very effective. When he spoke to the jury, he was clear. He was easy to follow in what he was saying. He did say, you know, about the suicide attempt, where the state tried to really minimize it. He's like, no, let's talk about the reality of the injuries that she suffered. He pointed out, and he spent a decent amount of time on it, that the state didn't properly investigate this case. And he is spot on with that. That was discussed in the trial, and he made sure to discuss that during closing for quite a bit of time, which I thought was brilliant. Brian is saying one of the things that he slammed was a picture of the kids. I heard though, I don't think so. I don't think so, but don't 100% quote me. Beckham, I can hear the dice.
Sorry.
So the prosecution, yes, they do. Yes, they do. And K-Dog, I will get into that. So, all right. Let me start out with the prosecution's opening because I re-listened to it. The prosecution's opening was aggressive. It was very stone cold in regards to like
It should be though.
But you're gonna say she was controlling, she was this, to the minute where, you know, her kids, like, you know, to the minute in regards to when they could eat, when they could go to bed, when they could use the bathroom, and we are going to prove that this was the type of person she was. So if you're gonna say all the things you're gonna prove in your opening,
yeah,
you might want to prove it. They didn't prove it. And I'm not just saying that because it's my feeling. It's the fact. It's the fact. Go back and listen to and for anybody that's like, Danny, I disagree. We can respectfully disagree, but go back and listen to the opening of what the state said they were going to show, that she was this heartless person, didn't get the help she wanted a quick fix, you know, all of this stuff. But then think of the witnesses. Beckham, we've been talking about this for weeks. Their own witnesses that they brought on to show that she was stone cold and this, and, you know, they all said great things about Lindsay. Their own witnesses said great things about Lindsay. Patrick, who lost 3 kids in this, said great things about Lindsay. So now that I said that, the closing arguments, like I could have sworn, Ryan, let me know if you feel different. It was like a different case. I'm like, what case are they talking about? Because this was not the Lindsay, like this, the prosecutor's voice. It was very soft. It spoke very comforting, very quiet, very almost, dare I say, like ASMR like, where it was this type of tone the whole time. Very different than the opening. They, in my opinion, they knew what they said they were going to deliver, they didn't. And they had to do what they needed to do to try to get the jury with that. I'm going to talk about some notes I made. I will say, I think they did a good job of a closing statement. If the jury just goes by that, I'm nervous. If the jury says, well, wait a minute, here's the state said what they were going to prove. Did they prove it? No, they proved none of it. All right, here we go. So the prosecution did a lot of, and this is a quote, it's understandable why she, so on and so forth. There was a lot of that, relating everybody to like, we're just like Lindsay Clancy. It's understandable she did this. It's understandable she did that. And I was just like, okay. They talked about how Lindsay wanted to control the narrative, that she had access to health insurance, medications, specialists. Again, not saying that, they didn't say that those were effective. It was just she had all this access. Two very different things. And Beckham, that's one thing that we talk about healthcare in regards to Luigi Mangione. And I know I've had this conversation with Paul from the Paulcast a bunch because he's in Canada, so their health system's very different than ours. But Beckham, I think, just to get on a side note, just because we have access to healthcare doesn't mean we always get the proper treatment, right?
Sure, of course.
All right.
Yeah, because you're gonna have different, different, what do you call it? Medical philosophies, right? Like depending on the
Very
doctor
well said.
depending on the doctor that you see, they might be by the book. Maybe they might be into more alternative stuff, So just depending on who you see and their philosophy, their belief, and whatever they're there. So yeah, I mean, you could get a different. A lot of people go to second opinions, with certain things for surgeries or just a diagnosis. Some people go to second and even third. Man, I've had. We won't go there, but there's been horror stories where somebody's had to go get a fourth, diagnosis because it just wasn't right, and they finally got it right on the fourth try. It's just crazy sometimes. Yeah,
Yeah.
unfortunately, yes.
And I know, yeah, that's an excellent point, Beckham. And I don't want it to seem like we're taking away. I felt like the statement of, well, she had access to all of these things. And don't get me wrong, that's a privilege. Not everybody has that. But that does not equal she had access to, therefore everything was fine.
Sure.
And that's kind of what I took away from that statement. I made a note that the prosecutor didn't wear a bow. Thank God. Thank God. We've had enough of those fucking bows. With the she talked about, the prosecutor, how Lindsay denied to the doctors she was feeling psychosis. She talks about how Lindsay's journal stopped on January 18th. Quote, it's as though she was done trying, end quote. On January 24th, the prosecutor says that everything she did, every person she spoke to, showed she knew right from wrong and she knew the law. She started planning at 4 p.m. with her phone searches, calling the restaurant to make dinner, to get the dinner orders in. Last minute asks her husband to go to CVS for the Pedialyte, even though she knew over an hour before because she called CVS before to make sure it was in stock. There was talk about the phone call Patrick made to her, that Lindsay answered it even though she was hearing voices. The prosecutors, in regards to why did she do it, in the closing arguments, the prosecutor said she was done. It's a choice she made to end her misery. She could have killed herself and left her kids alive. She could have moved down to her mother's. She knew it was wrong because she didn't tell Patrick. and sent him out. She knew it was wrong because she didn't call 911. She created the situation to do what she wanted. When she woke in the hospital and she knew she was alive and the kids were dead, she was horrified at what she did. She asked for a lawyer right away because she knew what she did was wrong. There was talk in the closing arguments about that's when Lindsay heard the voice and started to immediately obey the voice. They flat out said, prosecution, that she didn't expect consequences because she didn't expect to survive. Talking about she knew Dawson, her baby was sorry, to me they're all babies because they're just so young. The older son. She knew Dawson was a handful. That's why she killed him first. Deliberate premeditation, extreme atrocity, and cruelty. The very last comment, and Beckham, I want to hear your thoughts on this. The last comment that the prosecutor says in closing, quote, about her kids, she disregarded them like broken toys because she was done playing the game. She is guilty, end quote. Thoughts on that?
I don't know, man. Like, again, playing like I don't like that. I don't. That's really very. I don't know. In a
So you
sense,
don't like the closing
disrespectful.
statement?
I don't like it at all. No, you could have gone a different route. I mean,
I agree.
you yourself are calling the kids a pieces of to like pieces to a board game or something like. I wouldn't have gone. I wouldn't have said. I would have. You could have kept the same energy, but came at it with a better sense of winning, if that's what you want to call it. Not so. Oh man, I'm trying to find a good word. So cold. At the end of the day, you still have a mother that lost her children, and you make it sound like the kids are just like, I don't know. I personally don't like it, but that's me.
Okay. Um,
It's
yeah.
disheartening statement.
Oh, 100%.
Yeah.
Um,
Even if you're trying to prove, like I said, you're trying to make a statement, a winning statement or whatever, something that sticks with your audience. That's fine. I get it, but go a different route, or you know, do say it in a different manner. Say it in a more respectful, strong tone. You didn't have to go do it like that way. Like,
yeah,
but
I
they,
100%
I
agree
don't
with
know.
you. It kind of was shocking to me because, again, the whole time the prosecutor had this like really soft spoken,
Yeah,
calm, and
yeah.
then to say that statement at the end, I was like,
Yeah, I was like,
ugh.
oh, yeah. I would have been like, if they would have asked me for an opinion, I would have been like, oh no, let's scale it back some, or like let's go. I get what you're trying to do. You're trying to really make it a bold statement that it sticks in the minds of the jury, the audience, everybody. But at least come in with a you could have came at it a more respectful way with the same tone, the same setting, that kind of thing, but not so disheartening.
Yeah. You know what's, I don't want to say funny, interesting.
Yeah.
So obviously, since the jury has it, they came back once today with a question about bag of medications and evidence that they wanted to see. But besides that, it's been a lot of, law and crime, core TV correspondence, interview, like a lot of like behind the scenes, like talking to experts, like, well, what do you think this? And what the typical thing that happens after a trial while we're all on jury watch. And I will say that Beckham, nobody that and then other content creators that are talking about this, I've been keeping an ear out. Like, what are people thinking?
Hmm.
No one has talked about that closing statement that I've
Well, I
heard. And
mean,
I'm
well,
just like,
maybe,
how is nobody talking about that?
yeah,
I just thought it was like so disheartening and almost like you're losing the point of why we're here. You're comparing, like, I
right.
didn't think it was very effective. And I actually found it, to be honest, very disrespectful to the
I
kids.
mean, it's okay. Like I said, yes, one, it's this tragic thing happened, but at the same time, I'm sorry, a mother lost her children, and two, and three, like you're also by saying like by this statement, you're also naming the children like broken toys in a game, like tokens, like pieces on a board game or something. To me,
Mm-hmm.
right? So it's like, again, I understand where they're trying to come at it with the tone and that kind of thing to set it up so that you leave the audience like, oh wow, but you're trying to wow your audience. But like I would, I just don't like it.
I agree. I 100% agree with you on that. There's other ways, like you
Right.
said, to kind of wow or hook
Sure, of
in the
course.
audience and
Hmm.
leave them with that last thing of
Yep.
like, wow, yeah, what the prosecution said is resonating. What you said
Yeah.
wasn't that. Like, that was not the way to go.
Right.
K Dog, what does her husband want to happen? So I know he is suing the um the medication companies and the doctor providers for what happened. Um, in regards to, I didn't answer your question from earlier, K Dog. So originally it was this whole, at the beginning of the trial, like first degree premeditated murder. Then when they're going over like jury instructions, it was added the option of manslaughter and then second degree murder too. So now the jury has first degree murder, second degree murder, manslaughter, guilty, or not guilty by reason of insanity. So they have those 5 options. Before, when it was not guilty by reason of insanity, or first degree murder, I'm just like, okay, this is a slam dunk, because to me, the prosecution did not prove their case. But now that they have those other things, at first I got nervous, like, if they want her for something, they
Hmm.
could do manslaughter, even though the crime to me doesn't show that. Again, and I'm not giving my personal thoughts on Lindsay in her crime. I'm strictly going by what I feel the prosecution delivered to the jury. And with that being said, I know I said I've listened to a lot of commentary. A lot of them do not feel the state met their burden to prove about Lindsay. A lot of other content creators, like very reputable ones that I listen to, do not. Again, they talk about their personal opinions about Lindsay. I'm not going to say anybody in particular, their name of their podcast. Y'all can look online and find. I mean, every podcast is talking about this right now with true crime. Um, there are some people that are just very like, I feel what she did is this, so on and so forth. But then there's also, for the most part, it's, did the state prove their case? No, they didn't. So I find that very interesting that there's a big takeaway from that. Um, with that being said, now that it's going into next week, what do you guys think? Like, y'all in the chat, like, how do you think this is going to go? Like, specifically, I mean, you feel free to say your opinions on the case. Everybody's opinion here is welcome. No one is right. No one is wrong. Let me put this way. No one is wrong. We are all right and entitled to how we feel, but no one is wrong. Like, no one's going to come at you and say, you're wrong. What I think is right, you need to, no, none of that. None of that. Um, I personally think going into this week, it's going to be a hung jury. I don't think all of the jury members are going to be able to fully agree on everything now that manslaughter and second degree are like more so on the table. And I think the prosecution, honestly, I think that's the smartest thing that they did in this whole trial, was to give those other options. Because for them to be like, first degree premeditated, I'm like, really? You're not proving it. But
Hmm.
I don't know, Beckham, what do you think?
Nope. I'm with you on that. It's gonna be
Okay.
I think it's gonna be just something besides the premeditated thing. Because I mean, wait, you think it's gonna be, what did you say it was gonna be?
I think it's going to be a hung jury.
Oh wow, really?
I don't think they're all going to come to a consensus.
Wow.
Not a mistrial. I think a hung jury.
Yeah, but still, what
So
is
do
that
you
gonna?
think it will be one of the lesser charges? Is that what you're
Yes,
saying?
I think so.
Okay.
Yeah, yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, I think it's gonna be one of the lesser charges. But it's gonna, if she does get the lesser charge, how many years is she gonna serve?
Good question.
You know,
Yeah.
and will she still have a life after and all that kind of thing? You know what I mean?
Mm-hmm. 100%. Brian in the chat is saying none of the drugs at a toxic level. So Brian's referring to like the prescriptions that she's on. And again, the prescriptions was one of the questions that the jury came back to the judge with today.
Yeah.
K Dog is saying, I bet she'll get insanity. So that will be not guilty by reason of insanity.
Ooh, I don't.
Brian, I
Ooh,
thought Doctor, and I'm totally going to butcher this, my
I don't
bad.
know about that.
Dr. Sayoff was
I don't think she's gonna just
insightful.
walk, but I could be wrong.
Denjay90, I just don't know what to think about Lindsay Clancy. What it comes down for me is whether or not she was of sound mind, and still haven't looked at the exact meds she was on. All right. And see, okay, your statement right there, I hear you. That is what the prosecution was to prove to the jury, was beyond a reasonable doubt that she was of sound mind and knew what she was doing and knew between right and wrong at the time of the crimes. So, with what you're saying, and I'm not putting words in your mouth, I'm just expanding on what I'm seeing. When you say, when it comes down for me is whether or not she was of sound mind, that is not beyond a reasonable doubt. Therefore, not guilty. And then again, is it not guilty by reason of insanity? Again, that was what the prosecution had to prove. I don't feel they did that. Beckham, I mean, we've been talking about this for weeks, that like every time one of the prosecution state witnesses went to the stand to prove this and this about Lindsay, they walked off the stand, and I'm like,
Yeah.
that just helps the defense.
Right. I agree.
Either way, tragic.
Yeah, of
100%.
course.
100%. We are right there with you on that. K-Dog, too many options. You could be right about a hung jury. Yeah, so y'all know my podcast girls group chat. Bunch of us met up in Vegas for CrimeCon, Denver CrimeCon, the Beyond the Crime in New Mexico in April, and then there's like a big one with like 40 different content creators, podcasters, YouTuber, a bunch of us in there. Anyway, so we message all the time. Like, I love that chat. There's multiple chats too. But anyway, we're talking about this case, and I'm not saying, this podcaster thinks this or this or that, but that's one of the things we've been saying, like, hey, who's been following this? Of course, I'm like, this is my state. Like, yes, I'm following this too. And we're going back and forth. And yeah, that's one of the consensus is like, did the state, pretty much in agreement, like the state didn't really prove it. And then of course we're just like, what do you think, especially now going into next week? Do we think it will be, like Beckham said, one of the lower charges, second degree manslaughter? Did they prove first degree, or do we think not guilty by reason of insanity? I think everybody can walk away basically saying it's not going to be not guilty. I think we're all in agreement on that, because she's admitted she did what she did.
Yeah.
Yeah, I think it's going to be a hung jury, in my opinion. Have I been wrong before? Maybe once in my life. There's room for a second.
I just think it's gonna be. I mean, it's gonna definitely. I can see it definitely a lesser charge. I don't know if she just walks like, boom.
K-Dog, I looked it up. Thank you, hon. First is life, no parole. Second is 20 years max. Insanity is 40 days, then evaluation.
Ooh, okay. Thanks for looking it up, K-Dog. I don't know, man. Put that back up.
Yep, sorry. You could have been a doll and got me a coffee too, I'm just saying.
Oh, this is just a hot tea.
Oh, I'm even more jealous.
I don't know, man. Maybe she could get the life, no parole. I don't know.
So
But okay, the second. Okay, I think she's gonna get the second one. But
second
with
degree?
yeah, but with like good behavior, she'll be out in like I don't know, 12 years, 10 years. But I don't know.
One of the things, and I'm not doxing a private conversation with me and Beckham, but I just want to. One of the things that me and Beckham recently talked about when we were chatting was the not guilty by reason of insanity and kind of what that
Mm,
entails. And when that verdict happens, I'm not just talking about this case, but in any case, they go to a mental facility and they are there. Sometimes it is the rest of their life. Sometimes it's decades. Sometimes it's not as long as we might think it is. Because it depends on when that individual, again, let me repeat that individual is deemed no longer a risk to themselves and to the public,
yeah.
then they get released. And when me and Beckham were chatting, one of the examples I gave, and I can't remember if you knew this, hun. Mark, no, sorry, not Mark David Chapman, wrong guy. Shit, what's his name? He's the one that tried to kill the president to impress Jodie Foster.
Oh, you said his name the other day.
I did.
Hold
Y'all,
on.
somebody in the chat. I want to phone a friend. He got out and he wrote a book about the whole thing. Again, he got out because it was Hinckley. Thank you.
Hinckley, yeah, John Hinckley Jr.
Yes, thank you. Thank you. Because, yeah, he was no longer a risk to himself or to others. And then he wrote a book and is now profiting off it. That's a whole nother conversation. But point being, I mean, it did take decades before he was released. But that's what Lindsay's facing if it's not guilty by reason of insanity. Again, she could be in there the rest of her life. She might be in there for decades. She might not be. It's up in the air. And that
I
might be
just don't think
something that the jury considers.
yeah. I just don't
He's
think
a
she's gonna get
musician now.
first degree.
Does he? I don't know. I don't know. Y'all seem to know. Please don't post the link. I mean, but if you guys do and want to share it amongst yourselves, I gave y'all wrenches for reasons like that. If that's, I will not be watching it. Didn't know that. Hospital's very low chance of that. Okay, thank you, Brian. Oh, Brian, you also said something else. Yeah, that was one of the things was that Ziesel had too much access to Lindsay, and he Reddington addressed that in his closing argument in regards to why he was visiting with Lindsay. I think Reddington did a good job in that and really minimized.
Come on, James.
All right, I'm behind, so I'm definitely missing it. The way the closing arguments went, Brian, I thought Reddington did a good job to kind of address it and then move it on. Where I was just like, all right, out of sight, out of mind. But that's just my takeaway of it. All right, what am I missing? What am I missing? Insanity was for musician like Paul. All right, you're getting a star for that. If I could give you more than one star for that, I would. I really would, James. That's a good one. Insanity was 40 days, then reevaluation every 6 months. Okay, thank you, K-Dog. Yeah, we'll see. I mean, we'll see what happens next week. I'm trying to think of like what my plans are next week. If it's like, depending on the day that it comes, if it's just like, Beckham, we're going live. We'll have to see. But yeah, I am on jury watch. Thank you again to Brian in the chat for keeping me up to date. Cause yeah, don't you hate when life gets in the way of stuff like this? Like when it's just like, all right, I'm waiting for a verdict. And then it's like, oh, phone call, gotta take it. Oh, gotta run this errand, doctor's appointment. Now I'm sick. And I'm just like, I want to know what's going on in the trial. All right. There would be a public outrage if she was released so soon.
If she just walks, man, oh my, I don't know what that.
I think we can all agree that's not going to happen.
I don't think that's gonna happen. No.
UFO Bigfoot 4002. Talk about a blast from the past, hun. Good to see you too. How are you freaking doing? My God, it has been like, it feels like decades since I've seen you in here. Or since I've seen you around YouTube too. Hope you're doing good. Hope you're doing good. Happy Friday to you. All right, let's move on. I'm gonna go a little out of order here. Alex Murdoch. Did I expect us to talk about him this week? No, but this is the way the chips fell. This is the one case where I love y'all so much. I can't stand Alex. Cannot stand him. But this is one where y'all DM me and you're just like, any updates, please, please, please talk about it. So I give because I care. So why are we talking about him this week? Attorney Dick, and I'm totally going to butcher his last name, Harpootlian, wrote in a letter to Judge Deborah McCaslin that his August 10th statement about his client, Alex Murdoch, passing a polygraph test was, quote, incorrect, end quote, and that he had, quote, mistakenly conflated several facts, end quote. Beckham, what does that mean? He lied.
That you're lying, you know you're lying, but like somehow you can persuade the truth.
You know, mistakenly conflated several facts.
I know, but sometimes you can make that meter go back the other way.
So what are we referring to specifically? So a reminder, Attorney Harpootlian made the comment during a pretrial hearing that Alex passed a test with, quote, flying colors, end quote. So the state prosecution, they're now weighing in. They argued Alex never even took a polygraph test when he was tried for the murders of Maggie and Paul. He only took the test after the trial as part of a federal investigation into his financial crimes in October 2023. They noted that Alex took the test, that when he took it, he was, quote, trying to use possible countermeasures against the test, end quote. Reminder, he is serving 40 years in federal prison for his financial crimes, and his new murder trial has a pre-trial hearing date scheduled for November 13th. Well, this information coming out about the attorney mistakenly conflating several facts that he passed with flying colors is not going to help things. Beckham, as the person, like, you are more of like the court expert than I am because of, you know, your career. And so hearing this, what are your thoughts?
Again, it's almost like, again, they're trying to find something to go back on, and they're arguing that, you know, that he took the test as part of the federal investigation, right? And at that, he was I'm telling you, man, some people can pass these things because they somehow are able to really place a thought and really believe in that thought at that time, in that moment.
Mm-hmm.
So it can happen. You know, that's why a lot of them are not. Some of them are admissible, some of them are not, and it's like, well, they pass a lie detector. Well, yeah, but at the same time, you know, I've used myself as an example. You know, when I had mine, um, I've talked about it many times. You know,
Mm-hmm.
when the girl was like, wait a minute, we got to go back on this other question. I was like, sure, you know, I was like, you know, and I'm telling you, man, it's like freaks you out the way mine was. The wall was right in front of my face. You're tied up, everything. And she was like, wait a minute, didn't you
You're
say?
tied up. Are we
Well,
getting
like
into a
not tied
little?
up. You're strapped. You're strapped. Like there's a strap on your
No, I
chest.
know, but it was when you
Oh,
said
well, you know
tied
what I
up.
mean. Yeah, you're strapped. You're strapped, and those things are on you, and you have the wall right in front of your face, and there's a dot and all this stuff. So, um, but yeah, like, you know, the girl was like, yeah, so we got to come back on this question, and I was like, yeah, sure. About have you ever committed a crime or something? I mean, or did something. I don't remember the exact question, but then she was like, wait a minute. You said you were in a fraternity, right? And I was like, yeah, and, yeah, of course. You know, and she's like, you guys did a bunch of fun stuff and funny stuff, and I'm like, we sure did, you know. And she's like, oh, never mind. She you know, she passed me, But you see what that yeah. So that's why a lot of times they're like, I mean, oh, you passed the lie detector test,
Yeah,
but
I think they're bullshit.
right.
They're
So
But with that being said, for your attorney to be like, he passed with flying colors
right,
when he
right,
tried to deceive it, and it turns out he didn't pass it.
yeah.
eh, and
I'm
you're
telling you, man.
saying
Like
in
I think,
court,
yeah,
under pains and penalty of perjury,
sure.
like that's not when an attorney's called out for blatantly lying. If you're going to lie about this, that can be very easily proven. What about everything? It's not a good look.
Great point,
Not
K
a good
Dog.
look.
Well, I mean, yeah, and like maybe the attorney did slipped and was like, wait a minute, what? And kind of went forward when he shouldn't have.
You are so kind. And I just want to say, if Beckham had to, like, okay, another example. If Beckham had to take a polygraph and they said, are you the king of crime con? Do you have keys to the city of Boston? I think he would pass
Yo,
because he
definitely. I
believes that
believe it.
shit.
Yes, some people can really, in their mind, believe something.
It's
Some
not
people can do
true.
it. Some people can do it. Some people can't. Some people just like or however the meter thing goes.
I'm
But
sorry, what was that?
I don't think it goes like. But anyway, it definitely can skip a beat,
Mm.
and it's not a heart rate.
Oh, Brian, there are so many criminals that have passed them,
Yeah,
like,
it's like right.
who actually passed them, not this Alex Murdoch shit who didn't. Um, yeah. So anyway, all right, can we stop talking about Alex Murdoch?
Because
I
look,
just,
Shelly got me this cup, and it says the right thing on it.
oh, fuck's sake.
It came with a crown.
Seriously?
Hmm. It's a
You own
nice
a
cup.
crown?
It's like made of ivory or something. I don't know.
Don't you damn bring that. If you bring that crown to Crime Street, I'm gonna tell the host not to let you in. I'm not
Oh
joking.
man.
I'm not joking. All right, all right. I know Beckham needs to talk about Tupac. Let's get these couple other
There
things
really
in.
isn't much to talk about Tupac.
Right, 1 second, 1 second, 1 second. Okay, I need to get this off my chest.
What?
What we
Kohlberger?
have left tonight is Tupac that Beckham's going to go over, two things on Brian Koberger, and Chris Watts. Let's get into the Chris Watts one. This I frantically typed before we went live because I found this out and was like, say what? Say what? All right. Chris Watts, as a reminder for people who don't know who he is a convicted murderer. He's in prison for killing his pregnant wife, Shanann, who was pregnant with their unborn son, Nico, and then two daughters, two young girls, Celeste and Bella, on August 13th, 2018. There was not a trial because he pled guilty. If you are not familiar with the details of that case, by all means, please look it up. There are a ton of documentaries on this case. I mean, it's horrific what he did to his wife, unborn son, and his two daughters. Why is he in the news this week? Beckham, Chris Watts has found love again and he's getting married.
Wow.
The lucky woman is Lizzie Henderson. So, how did Chris and Lizzie meet? Well, as we know, Chris Watts was, how do I word this? You know when Scott Peterson went to jail, all these women were like, oh my God, Scott Peterson, and wrote to him and all that. And then I feel like then the new it guy was Chris Watts for a long time. A lot of women writing to him, so on and so forth. I've done a whole show on hybristophilia. I've done 2 shows on hybristophilia. Go back and check it out.
Yeah, I was gonna say I have. Yeah, the How do you say that word?
Hybristophilia?
Hibistrophilia. Hybristophilia or
There you go. Hybristophilia.
hibistrophilia? Okay.
Hybristophilia, close
Hyb.
enough.
All right.
So it
Hibistrophilia. Yeah, there you go.
no, not like that. Not like that. And then with Luigi Mangione, he's like the new it guy. So anyway, and I hate to word it like that, but like that's really how society looked at it, which is sad and disgusting. So anyway, to go back to how Chris and Lizzie met. Again, Chris had a lot of women writing to him. Lizzie was one of them. They were pen pals. So Lizzie is reportedly from Cleveland, Ohio, but recently moved to Wisconsin. This is where Chris is sentenced in prison. If you're wondering why Wisconsin, that's where he is at the Dodge Correctional Institution, which is a maximum security prison. So People Magazine is the one that reported that Chris and Lizzie, so not just one, but both, applied to marry within the prison system. So Lizzie told the dailymail.com, quote, all right, okay, I'm going to be sick. Quote, he knows how I feel. I don't know all the people involved, but I would want to respect them, end quote. In regards to the murders that her fiance committed, she said, quote, something harsh for anyone to experience, end quote. Beckham.
Don't do it. What is the definition of that? Let's go over that first of all.
Of hybristophilia?
Yes.
All right.
Let's go over the definition.
It's also known as Bonnie and Clyde syndrome. There's a lot. So the AI overview is, I'm just pulling it up because I don't have like my actual written, I was going to say reports, notes from when my show was, but it's a psychological condition where someone feels sexual or romantic attraction to people who commit terrible crimes. The shows I've done on it, there's a lot of reasons why, because again, it happens to both men and women, but it's predominantly women in regards to men who are in prison.
Yeah, right.
He wouldn't do that to me. I can change him. I understand him. You know where he is every night. He's behind bars. He ain't going anywhere. So there's that security. There's the, he, in regards to he's behind bars, he's not going anywhere. He's also not going to be with you in regards to outside of prison. So maybe there's that. There's background, studies on like the type of person who would like that type of offender. Did they suffer from, abuse trauma growing up, sexual trauma, psychological abuse and trauma where there's trust issues. There's a million factors. But to put it very simply, Beckham, it's a psychological condition where someone feels sexual or romantic attraction to people who have committed terrible crimes.
Right. Now,
go ahead.
It can also be, and I'm going to give this credit to a book written by Bond in 2014. And it could also be argued that humans are naturally drawn to predators resulting from the adrenaline that is released in our body when the fight or flight sociological response to fear is activated. Individuals who are attracted to serial killers may seek the thrill caused by heightened levels of adrenaline in their system as they get close to these dangerous predators. Now, a very good kind of scenario of this was kind of put into play in the movie Hannibal, the 2001 film where Julianne Moore is playing Clarice Starling. In the movie, there's a couple of scenes where you can see the attraction between Clarice and then Hannibal Lecter, to where it's weird because she feels this attraction to him, but knows that of course he's a serial killer, but there's a couple of events where she feels that attraction, knowing, and it almost helps him in the movie, right? And then in the end, of course, nothing happens, but there definitely is that sexual attraction, that physical attraction, that mental, whatever, psychological attraction, whatever. portrayed in the movie, kind of going based on this his how do you say it? Hibistophilia. There you go.
Hybristophilia.
Or hibistophilia. Yeah. So
You
yeah,
say
I
what?
mean, it's this odd thing. I mean, you could have hours of conversation about this. I mean, of course, you definitely have to do the research to kind of see where the actual research has gone, right?
Mm,
A lot of books have been written about it. There's a lot of information out there. There's also just the influence of media, and there's case studies and all kinds of information on it. And I think you said you've covered it, right? A couple of times on
I
your
did a show
a
here
show,
on
a
you,
couple of
and then
yeah,
that was what I did my show on in at
yeah.
Beyond the Crime in Albuquerque, New Mexico.
Oh, okay. There you go. Yeah, there's
Yeah.
data collection. Yeah, there's just so much on the subject. You could get really, you could dive into this big time. But
Mm-hmm.
to the point of this specific case, it's just there's an attraction there, right? And she played the part, man. There was the what do you call it? They had a pen. They were pen pals, right?
Yeah.
There you go. That's how it starts. Something as getting to know each other, start writing, and you kind of flirt and this and that, and this leads to that adrenaline rush, that looking forward to the next letter, or looking forward to the next thought, or looking forward to the next idea, or fantasy, right? Then it becomes a fantasy. Then they start writing about a fantasy, and it just kind of starts playing out. I mean, yeah, it happens a lot, man. I can keep going on it. I mean,
No, Beckham's right. It happens a lot. There are websites, like almost like dating websites for prisoners. It's wild. When I do research for a show, like I go all the way in, and I was shocked. I was just like, wow, this is a thing. This is a thing. Like I can
and
easily
and that's the
find 100 different guys in different prisons
yeah.
with their almost dating profiles and easily correspond with them to find love. It's
I don't
weird.
think, okay, again, if you kind of want to test, like, kind of really, and I went last year and rewatched Silence of the Lambs. I
Mm,
don't think Silence of the Lambs really was going in that direction, but I think it naturally did, because you had this in like the character Clarice, right? A young FBI agent, young, gets thrown into this unit. Um, and then yeah, there's that danger, right? There's that danger of, like, even talk, or even walking a few feet from this monster. And then after she overcomes that, she kind of, there different levels of overcoming fear and trying to get an outcome with an established line of communication with the killer, right? And it's almost the way it was written. It wasn't written for this. It wasn't written but you can see the dynamic. It was greatly, of course, you had Academy Award winners playing these parts, right?
hmm.
um and you can see, though, the dynamic of that relationship maneuver, right? From ultimate fear to, like, almost like she felt safe at the end with him. And it was crazy odd, man. I mean, of course everybody's seen it, but go back and watch it again, and you really see this maneuver of the relationship of that line of communication. And it starts with fear, and it almost ends with it's an odd trust between them two. Like, she feels he's not going to hurt her.
Mm,
She knows he's not going to hurt her, even though he could. Or everybody knows the ending, but you know what I mean? Like, so,
yeah.
but like, and then that kind of progresses to this 2001 follow up movie. And then in this movie, they put that in there. They put in that attraction. They put in that, man, what's wrong with me? Why am I feeling that? Why did she help him? When she's supposed to try to catch him, it's just kind of, it's a marvel. Like, I don't know, it's crazy, because it wasn't meant for that to be written in the first movie, but you can see it. You can feel that dynamic between these two actors, and it's amazing. Of course, you have two of some of the best the Academy Award winners, right? But
Yep.
yeah, maybe it was a natural thing. I don't know, right? Sometimes actors kind of get into their roles, and it just kind of just. But you could definitely see it, and I think the person that wrote the second one probably got that sense. I was like, man, we got to add this in it, or some, they kind of went with it. So it's kind of crazy.
Yeah, it's interesting because we're talking about a movie where we're seeing this on the screen.
Right.
But then we transition this to real life. And to me,
Sure.
that's even scarier. Like, that is
Yeah,
even
it
scarier.
happens. Right.
I guess and like, I get it. Not everybody has like the best social network and family support and all that. And a part of me, like, I have several thoughts on this with the Chris Watts update here with Lizzie. I guess let me put it on me. If I was writing to him and fell in love in all of this and was going to marry him,
And
I
change him.
would have friends
Oh,
in my life, family in my life that would be like, Danny, what the fuck are you doing? This is not okay. This is like, would I listen to them at the end of the day? I don't know. And we don't know about Lindsay's, social network, family network, so on and so forth. But I'm just like, but this is such a common thing, this hybristophilia, it happens over and over. And I'm thinking, where are where are people being like, what the fuck are you doing? That's a thought of mine. But then also like her own words, like, he knows how I feel. Like, is he the only person you've ever met that knows how, like, is there, like, that's why you're marrying him? And then in regards to the murders, like, again, her words, something harsh for anyone to experience. Think how vague that statement is. Is she referring to her? Is she referring to him? Is she referring to his family, her family, Shanann? Like, it's such a blanketed, vague statement that I'm just like, you're saying a lot without saying anything. Um, I
no.
don't know. I literally came across this like maybe an hour and a half before show and was like, fuck, I need to get this in the notes. And I was so mad when I was working on it.
Danny,
I don't know,
like
Beckham, what do you,
Danny. I mean, the way it is, there's this life, but females are always attracted to the bad boys, right? Yeah, when they're
and
younger,
that's why women love Beckham.
they're attracted. They're attracted to the bad boy. They're attracted to the athlete. They're attracted to the one that brings excitement, the one that has a higher status, or a rule breaker, or whatever, because it's that they're attracted to that short. I'm kind of getting off of this information, kind of going off of what this is saying. It's a short term goal, right? Of you're just this is there's that attraction, even though it could be a wrong thing. It could be the complete, like you said, your family could be like, no, you shouldn't be dating this guy. He's bad, this and that, and then, of course, people get into their 30s, 40s, and they're like, oh yeah, everything I did then was dumb, and then now they're seeking that long term relationship, the right one, right? But it's always been that way, man. I mean, it's always been that way, and it's not going to change. It's not going to change. That's just the way life is. It's the way life is. And if you're not the bad boy in the beginning of it, you're not. You know what I mean? You have to get on the back end. Go make sure you have a great job in investments and everything, because that way you can get the girl on the back end. Good luck.
Ugh. All right, I know I'm behind a little bit in the comments, but let's see. James, Ed Gein, no women wrote to me. Joanne Gacy, me either. Oh, for Christ's sakes.
That's funny.
Chris Watts, what nightmares are
Uh,
made of? Serial hags. What do they call it when a female teacher hooks up a
oh,
teenage boy?
that
I
no.
bet there's a term. I don't know what it is, but yeah. And then you guys are talking about Hannibal. Yeah. I thought it was a genetic thing from thousands of years ago, but women were attracted to the biggest, baddest motherfucker around because of the protection she and her offspring would get.
Yeah, it's
Um,
also that. I mean, it can be that's all that's talked about. It's this genetic thing, man. I'm telling you,
let's
it's always been
see.
that way, and it's always going to be that way, and it's never going to change.
James's comment, I can change him. That is
That's the
seriously.
newest thing on like social media. Like whether you can change her, I can change him. What it's funny, you see these memes of these people that get arrested and like they're like, oh, I can change him. I know someone, or so, or that's funny, right? It's a lot of jokes, but that's the way it is.
That's one of like legit one of when studying
Just James,
hybristophilia.
just like you
That is
thought you
one of
could
them.
change what's her name,
Karen Reed,
or I don't know the other one. I don't know. I think James has a couple. I don't.
Casey Anthony.
Yeah, there you go. That's it.
Some are attracted to the John. Oh my God, why are we? Ugh. Yeah, it's yeah.
John
I just
Holmes
had
did
a
not
lot of
murder
thoughts and
nobody.
feelings about this tonight,
John
folks, and I
Holmes did not
wanted to
murder
chat about
nobody.
it with you guys. All right,
John.
so Beckham.
Well, wait. What was your final analysis, real quick?
Well, I mean, okay, one of the
I
other things
mean,
with the
you've done
bristophilia,
shows, you've hosted shows on it, you've presented about it. You're an expert on it, really.
I'm an expert on a lot of things.
Oh
Um,
God.
no, there is one of the things I am going to answer your question, but one of the things with the bristophilia too is like the wanting the notoriety and almost celebrity like aspect of this. Point
Mm.
being, so for example, you get with again Richard Ramirez, for example, he attracted a lot of women. So whoever he was going to end up with became had that notoriety that he got for that reason. So at first my thought was, could it be a little of that? But then when I read her comments, I'm like, no, I don't think so. I honestly, as much as it enrages me, her comments make me really sad for her in regards to he understands me. Like a part of me just thinks like, is this a very low self-esteem thing? I think so. Again, I'm just going off the little bit of information. I do not know Lizzie. I've never met Lizzie. But if we look at what the research shows about hybristophilia, and especially taking the few comments that she's made, I think it's a bit of the low self-esteem, finding someone who has nothing but time in prison. Do they have a sense of, maybe they do have a connection? Is it as deep as what she and he thinks? I don't know, because it's easy to have the fantasy that you have when you're in the position you're in, where you don't have to deal with the stressors of jobs and a house and a mortgage and kids and this and that. So, she knows where he is. He's not getting out. There's that security. He's not going
Mm.
anywhere.
Yeah, I guess. I mean,
Um, and Sam Smith, hello, and some are attracted to the Mickey Dolenz type. Go figure. Sam, I know you mean that as a knock on, but
that's funny.
Mickey Dolenz is the catch of all catches, the hottest celebrity of hottest celebrities. I don't care that he's 79 years old. I don't care. Don't go after my Mickey. Don't go after Mickey. All right. Did I answer your question, Beckham?
Yeah.
All
I mean,
right.
best you could, I guess.
Translation, he didn't listen to a damn word I said.
Yeah. No, I
Um,
mean, you did. I mean, yeah, but you kind of. I mean, I get that point, but this
if
is a
I didn't
subject that.
answer it, let me
No,
know.
that's no. This is just a subject that you can go. I mean, you could spend days on. I mean, there's so much
Very true.
research and there's so much that goes into it. You know.
Yeah. Um, yeah. All right, Beckham, Tupac. I
Mm.
did not watch or listen to anything. I read a headline that the prosecution rested.
Yeah.
So, can you please educate us all on what happened this week?
Yeah. The prosecution, they arrested a couple of days ago. I mean, they had about 25 witnesses. The Clark County District Attorney Mark D.G. Alcomo and Chief Deputy Benu Palal. They called 25 witnesses over 8 days. They arrested 2 days ago, which was Wednesday. Um, and the defense, I believe the defense is going to, let's see, they might have already rested too. But the um yeah, so the defense, they called three former Las Vegas police officers on Thursday, including retired homicide detective Dan Long, who interviewed uh Davis in 2009. Long said he believed Davis at the time could not verify the claims. Other officers testified about vehicles seen around Suge Knight's house that night. Um, Apparently, Suge Knight had security around his house that night. Um, Now, what I found interesting during the week was the let's see, give me one second. There was a former um rapper, part of a rap group that Tupac was had been friends with. That guy was in the he was in the two he was also with one of his security details for Tupac, two cars behind. I think two cars behind. Um, so that guy testified, like I think it was either Tuesday or Wednesday. Um, that he did. They asked him, "What did you see?" He's like, I saw the other car pull up, and I saw the shots. There was a car in front of them, so they couldn't. Remember, they also didn't have Tupac, and I've talked about this the other last week, where Tupac's guys were not armed because they were told not to be. So they were not only a car behind, I believe, but they wouldn't have been able to do anything because they were not armed.
Mm.
And his security detail, one of the guys has already passed away. He was mentioned in this, but in the story, but this rapper guy, I'm sorry, I thought I had his information pulled up. I do not.
No
Um,
worries.
but he did testify that they asked him, what did you witness? He was like, well, what I witnessed was something scary. I'm seeing my friend get shot at. We can't get to him. And then immediately Suge, like, of course, that car takes off. Then Suge takes off, and he does a turnaround. So they couldn't really get to help or anything. They stayed in the car, but they did follow Suge to the hospital.
Mm.
Um, but he did say what he also saw was the arm that came out of the window to take the shot. And the attorney asked him, what was it? What did you see? Was it a white arm? Was it African American arm? That kind of thing. He did say the arm was African American. So he labeled the shooter. He was able to to state that the shooter's arm was African American. So there, I mean, but that's it. There wasn't really anything. You know, um,
Yeah.
Now what I'm surprised at personally was last week. I thought there was going to be more of testifying, more witnesses, but closing argument. They both rested this week. Both the prosecution and defense rested. Now
Mm.
Monday is going to be the opening for closings, right? So the estimate was supposed to be 4 to 6 week estimate on this case. But it's really short.
Yeah, I was just about to
Yeah,
say.
right. And the Suge Knight is not going to testify.
That was my
Um,
question.
nope, he's not. So,
Hmm.
um, hold on. I'm sorry. Here it is. James Ma. I'm sorry. His name is James McDonald. Reggie White Jr. Were also witnesses, and then they were part of the Outlaws members, and then yeah. So Malcolm Greenidge was in the car behind the BMW, described as yeah. So he was the one that was talking about what I just told, what I just kind of told everybody here. So he's the one that described seeing the shot, the shooting, what he could, saw the arm out the window, taking the shots. But I'm telling you, man, I mean, I went really deep into this last week. Um, there's no weapon, there's no fingerprint, there's nothing like that to really put this on. I mean, again, the defense was like, look, our client was just trying to basically showboat, act big, make money off a story,
Mm,
that type of thing. And with it again, and we talked about. I mean, we really spent a lot of time on the street code thing, man.
yeah.
You had old gangsters saying, I don't want to put this guy in. I mean, he's like I went back and rewatched it. That guy was like, I'm 60 something, I have grandchildren. What does it say about I'm a different man. My lifestyle is different. I'm not that anymore. What is it going to say about me if I come here and put this man, he points to, Davis, right? If I put him in jail or say it's not, if he doesn't believe it was right to do it now,
Mm,
he's kind of eliminated himself from that lifestyle. And now he's a grandfather. Now he's trying to be a role model for his grandchildren. He didn't want to be there. He didn't want to be associated to any of this. This happened 30 years ago. Should have been dealt with
mhm.
30 years ago, not now.
Yeah.
And I mean, I went really deep into that part of it last week.
Hmm.
I exhausted myself on it. I was like, looking back. Remember, I told you guys this last week. Looking back, this should have been done a long time ago. You just kind of the reason for me saying that is the right people are no longer here to tell the story or tell what they witnessed, what they were a part of, all of that.
Yep.
They're gone. They're all gone. Tupac's security team detailed people are gone. His closest friends, some of them are gone. That would have put the right statements out, that would have made the right statements at the time matter.
The law enforcement officers that actually worked the
Right,
case.
and the law enforcement officers that were there that are not no longer here, the medical people that were there that are no longer with us. Everybody's gone. Everybody's deceased. Too long ago, 30 years ago.
Yeah.
This guy's gonna. I'm this. I don't see anything happening to Davis. I really don't. If
I
if
was going to
he
ask, do you think the
if he does,
prosecution
I'll be
met their
shocked
burden?
if he does, because there's not going to be enough to. You're going based on something that he said, and then there's rumors that he put it on Diddy. Who's really gonna say that Diddy really even? We've known that. We've known like for like a year or a year and a half that Diddy, when Diddy got in trouble, it was talked about. He might have put the hit on Tupac or whatever too. It's all hearsay. It's all just talk. We don't. There's no legitimate. No one is gonna break the code and be like, look, I'm putting myself on the line. This is what happened. No one's doing that.
Yeah, especially 30 years later where they have kids and grandkids that it's one thing, if you were like, I'm going to put like you just said, I'll put myself on the line. Now you
Orlando,
have kids and
what was it?
grandkids.
What
Are
was
you
his
going to
name?
put them on
Orlando.
the line?
Yeah, Orlando. Keefe Davis's nephew, Orlando. I always forget his name.
Orlando Anderson?
And Orlando, he was killed in 2 years later. He was murdered 2 years later, shot in the back
Yep.
at a light. I think he was on his bicycle or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
It's. I didn't think about this at the time. I thought they would have had more. Maybe, I don't know.
Yeah, based on
With
what
the
you're
proper
saying, I'm
yeah, with the
like,
agreement, and I mean, I thought they would have had real like I don't know. I mean, maybe the jury has a different opinion, and they will see what happens. We'll see during closings, but both sides have rested. This went fast, like
mm-hmm.
3 weeks, 2 weeks, 2.5
Yeah.
weeks, or not even a month. Danny, it wasn't even a month. It went really quick. Um,
Yeah. I don't know.
mm,
I hate to say like that your updates have been a little lackluster because it's not you. I
no,
think
there's
I was
nothing right. There's nothing.
expecting like the state to bring something and be like, here you go, and this is what we uncovered, and us be like, holy shit, I'm not getting that from you.
Mm. At the end of the day, well, I can't. I have to be honest. There's a lot of things that happened. I don't want to get into conspiracy theories. There's oddities that happened in this case.
Mm-hmm.
There's oddities that happened. You know, why was the security detail not told not to carry weapons, not to carry radios, not to do this, do that, stay this far back? There's so much other stuff that there's other stories out there that really conflict with a lot of this stuff, man.
Mm-hmm.
And the only way we would have got down to it, this should have happened a long time ago.
Mm-hmm.
Because now you're just going to speculate, and you cannot speculate without facts, right? I mean, I'm sorry, you can't. I'm sorry, you can't just really. All you can do is speculate without the facts, right? So,
And a jury can't do a verdict based on speculation, or they're
right,
not
and just
supposed to.
right. I mean, right. There's no fingerprint. There's no weapon. There's no. There's nobody saw him do it. You just have the one witness. One witness saw the arm of an African American person. Could it have been a female? We don't. Maybe. We don't know. I'm just saying, right? You know.
No, yeah, that's what they're bringing to the table.
So
30 years, like how many decades later, this is
well,
what
they're
they're
just kind of
bringing?
saying, well, he said on, you know, he said in an interview that he made a deal, the Queen for a Day deal, that he said.
Yeah, Beckham, you have been looking forward to this trial to kind of like, what are we
No,
going to
man, it needs
uncover
to.
and what are we going to learn? What's it going to bring?
It's
And
no, yeah, but at the same time, it's unfortunate because having driven into this thing, it's unfortunate that Tupac was not taken care of at all,
yeah,
even by the closest people to. That's the fact. Those are facts. Even David, I don't know if David said, yeah, actually David said this. I'm not sure when he said it, but he's like, why don't you guys blame Suge Knight and Death Row for not protecting him? He has a point.
he does have a point.
Not only did they not protect him that night, they didn't protect him financially. He didn't have money that he made for people. He had no
Yeah.
money, sadly. I found a video two nights ago that about somebody doing one of those, you know, oh, this was where Tupac, he wanted to buy this. He wanted to purchase this house that he was living in at the time, and that he, you know, right before he was wanting to purchase the house that he was, I'm going to say it this way. He wanted to purchase the house that he was living at.
Mm-hmm.
He did not have the financial means to purchase that house. That house, people think that Death Row owned the house. They did not own the house. They were leasing the house. Tupac thought it was Death Row's house.
Mm.
And it wasn't. They were leasing the house that Tupac was living at. Again, to my point, he had no money. Isn't
Yeah.
that crazy?
And he was one of the biggest rappers in the
Right,
world
one
at
of the
that time.
biggest. Right. Now, granted, I think he might have known in the back of his mind he wanted to leave the label and all. I mean, that's again, those are stories. Of course, we don't know because he didn't get to live to do that. Nah, man, he wasn't worth. Nah, he didn't have any money. Everything he had, Suge Knight would. Oh, you need clothes? I'll take care of it. Just go to the mall here. Just put it on the credit card. Or you need a car? Oh, I got you a car. When you wake up, there's gonna be a car in the driveway. Everything was leased. Everything was borrowed. Everything was paid by a credit card. It wasn't his money.
Mm.
Maybe he had a little bit, but not what he should have. He made Death Row millions and millions of dollars.
That was one of the things we talked about in the Diddy documentary because that was
Yeah,
discussed.
right.
Yeah, no, 100%. Um, It's just,
Yeah,
yeah.
but that money right there that you're talking about that he was worth, I guarantee you, he just wouldn't have been able to go get it out of the bank. That money would have had to have been moved and paid somehow and maneuvered around with lawyers and accountants, and it just, it wouldn't have been like, oh, I have that in sitting in an account. He didn't have that. It's just sitting in an account. That money, if he was worth that, would have had to have been moved around. And Suge Knight would have been like, oh, no, I'll get you some. Oh, what do you need? What do you need? What are you needing? I'll get it for
Mm.
you. Again, plain, this cloud of doubt over everything. That's what. So again, to Davis's point, Death Row didn't protect Tupac, whether it was security wise and financially. He was not protected at all, which is
Yeah.
sad.
Yeah. So are closing arguments for both sides on Monday?
Yeah, they're gonna
Okay.
start closing on both sides Monday.
Do you think we'll have a verdict by the end of next week?
I don't, maybe could, but I mean, the media started really powerful at the beginning of this thing. Like they were really into it, and it's just faded. The media it's also faded with the media. Have you noticed? Like two
I
weeks
was
ago,
just
there
about
was
to
a
say
lot of
that.
pop into this, man. You had people kind of reporting on it, and then it's just kind of faded out.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, before it's like, I work on the notes for our show, and it's like I'd scroll and see something with Tupac, and I'm like, all right, Beckham's gonna take care of that. I don't need to worry about it. I'm not even seeing him
No,
in
it's faded. It's
anything as
faded.
I'm
It's fading.
doing
It's
stuff.
fading.
Like when I say him, meaning I'm not seeing
Yeah.
the trial.
Yep.
And yeah. Thank you for mentioning that because you're absolutely right. Well, Beckham will keep us posted next week.
And maybe sometimes we overthink
Hmm.
it, and maybe it was Davis, but sometimes you overthink it, right? It could be as simple as Davis. Davis might have done it, Kevy Davis, but then he might not have done it.
Which
He might
goes
have been in the
back
car.
to
He might have been in the
beyond a
car.
reasonable doubt.
Right, right. We don't know.
Now one of my cats is trying to get in the room.
So basically, what the gangster
Mm.
said, I forgot his that other older guy, the grandpa now.
Mm-hmm.
He made a point too. He was like, I can't put this guy. I'm not gonna ruin this guy's life. I don't know.
Mm.
Yeah, I was a gangster. He was a gangster. We didn't like each other. I would have done something bad to him. That's what he said. I was like, yeah, 30 years ago we didn't like each other. If I saw him in the street, he would have tried to get me. I would have tried to get him. It was what he was basically. It was all hearsay. It's all like, yeah, I mean, he was part of the war, or you know what I mean. They go after each other. They were enemies.
Yeah.
But now he's not gonna. He can't 100% say what he did because he can't. And again, it's kind of half code and half he doesn't know
It's
100%.
sad. The whole
You
thing's
know,
just sad. Like, a part of me thinks like with what you've kind of relayed that has happened in the
some
trial, it's
people,
kind of like,
I'm
why
telling you, man,
bother?
there's conspiracy. Some people think Suge Knight called the hit. I mean, there's the Suge Knight called the hit, even though he got shot. There's people that believe Diddy did it. There's people that believe this guy Davis did it. There's people that believe his Davis's associates did it. His nephew did. I mean, there's so many theories, you know.
Mm.
But in the end, it's sad that I don't know. It's they did not protect him the right way, especially after saying, especially during the East Coast West Coast thing.
Yeah.
And you want to kind of I mean, you kind of want to say, I was talking to somebody the other day. I know we're going to bring in Manson in this, but like they were like, oh, the Manson family were amateurs. What, the Bloods and the Crips were not amateurs. They couldn't protect their biggest asset.
Mm.
That was amateur, wasn't it? You have a
Mm.
public war, West Coast versus. Remember at the time, it was a big thing at the time.
Mm. Yeah.
Huge thing. People died in this battle, right? Not just the bigger names, but like there was conflict. Lives were
Mhm.
lost. But yeah, you want to talk about amateur status? Let's talk about amateur status and what Kiffy Davis said. You didn't protect your boy.
Yeah.
How he got rolled up on? That's amateur,
Hmm.
right? Think about it.
Oh yeah, yeah. I'm not. Yeah.
Now let's talk about you want to talk about like orchestrated, like maybe better was Biggie Smalls hit. That was orchestrated a little bit better, more professional. But you had law enforcement do that one, right? So
Mm.
who's really amateur?
Damn, Beckham. K Dog. There's knowing who did it and proving who did it.
Well, we don't. I mean, nobody. I mean, honestly, there might be a couple of people that know who did it. Maybe Davis knows if he was took part in it. He knows he's gonna take it to the grave. Maybe Suge Knight knows who did it.
Yeah.
Yeah, go. What did James say? Driving around with your window. Yeah. I mean, his team was not even a car behind.
Right.
It was amateur. You want, like I said, you want to talk about amateur? That was amateur all the way around. But they got it done. They shot at a car. Even the hit was amateur. They got lucky.
Yeah. I
They
agree on
almost
that.
missed him completely.
Yep.
I mean, they hit him, but they got lucky. The shots went through the car door, and it's sad, man.
Yeah.
Like I
Again, I
said,
have
yeah.
not watched the trial. Based on what your retelling of it, you're giving us the breakdown. I don't
How
I
about the
don't
real?
know if they prove guilty beyond a reasonable doubt. So the question for me is, will it be a guilty, not guilty, or hung jury? I feel like everything now is going to be a hung jury for Christ's sakes.
Man, you want to know? You want to hear a funny story?
Sure. Hey, Tony
So I was
Stewart.
talking to this nurse in Dallas, at Baylor Hospital, one of the big hospitals in downtown. He's
Mm-hmm.
he's a I forgot what kind of nurse he was. Anyway, he's in the emergency room. But um he was telling me a story about these two gangster guys. They met. They happened to hit each other. They happened to drive up at a light together. True story. True, right? The light, and they knew each other. They hated each other, so they exchanged gunfire, and they hit of course, went through the car doors. The one that survived because his car door was so bad, like hanging off or something. He used phone books to like help attach the door, like to like keep the door, like the weight. He needed something to kind of put weight behind, like so the door could close. So he had these thick phone books in on the
Mm,
door on the car door. He survived because the bullets got stuck in the phone books, and he was able to shoot the other back.
Jesus.
True story. True story.
That's insane.
The phone books are holding the door closed for him.
God. And then to think there's a whole generation that's like, what's a phone book?
Right.
Beckham, we're
This
old.
was like 10 years ago. I mean,
Yeah.
something like that.
Oh, Tony, I'm sorry to hear that, hun. I was thinking you were having a nice Friday out, which you still might be, but I'm sorry to hear that. I'm sorry to hear that, hun. My thoughts are with you and with your friend. So,
I went on a rant, but that's
no, no, no. Those were all very relevant points, and I'm glad you brought all that out. Um, James, you can't say that. You can't say that. All right. I am not ignoring K-Dog. K-Dog, where's the comment? Don't forget to tell Beckham about the documentary he's going to have to watch.
What? On the JFK? Sure.
No. All right, let me find it. So Beckham, how do I bring this up? So you're a friend of mine, right?
Oh,
So,
God.
meaning, if I want you to feel what I'm feeling,
No.
and I ask a favor of you, would you do it? For example, if there's a documentary that I'm like, Beckham, we need to be in this together, would you do it?
Does it have to do with Columbo?
It does not. K-Dog, very early in the show when you were fashionably late, and maybe you heard when you were getting ready to come on, I don't know, there's a new documentary coming out. And I really think and I'm being serious, I really think we're going to have to watch it and review it. And this is one where, friend, if I suffer, you have to be right there with me. Here it is. We're going back to our friend.
Who?
Read that. The suitcase murder.
Oh, no. Is that the guy that got put in the suitcase?
By our friend Sarah Boone.
No.
Beckham.
I don't have the channel.
She didn't. Sorry, K-Dog didn't say what channel it's on. That's like you saying, "Sorry, I'm busy that night." We haven't even said it.
I don't have the channel, man. It's on it's on one of them that I do not have, Danny.
It's out now. Shit. K-Dog, I was hoping I had like a month to mentally prepare myself. Jesus Christ. Kind of missed tonight arguing with Danny. That's all right, Tony. I've been arguing with myself and my feelings tonight on every case, so no worries. Tubi. I don't think I have Tubi.
Oh, I don't have Tubi. I don't have that.
I
have everything else in the world but that.
Oh, shit. If I can't, I don't have Tubi. I'll have to see if I can find it in an alternative source. It will leak on YouTube at some point. K-Dog, I might need you.
We don't have it. No, Shelly, we do not have it.
Tubi's free.
It's not free. It's paid service.
That's what I thought. With a smart TV, it should be free.
No way.
All right, let me do some research. If I can find a way to access it,
I don't believe it till I see it.
And I will suffer and make Beckham suffer with me. K-Dog saying it's free. All right, because I'll be honest, I don't do those things where it's like sign up for 7 days for free, and then after that, like, I'm just like, no, I don't do that. Like, I don't do that. I just like, no, life is busy. I got so much shit going on. Next thing you know, 7 days is over, and now I'm paying $30 a month. Like, so no, I don't do that.
Oh, you get caught forgetting to cancel after the 7-day grace period or whatever.
Just like
that's kind of funny.
I don't do that. So if that's what it is, I just looked it up on my TV. It's free. Tony Stewart, you're not helping. Hey, Steve Harris, nobody rides for free. All right, let me look it up. I'll see what I can do. Thank you all for being so much more. I'm not technically savvy at all. It's free.
I don't know how to get there either.
App on my smart Tubi's free with ads. All right. Thank you, James. I'll give you a star for that. All right, everyone. Thank you. Hey, Kat. All right. Okay, let's get into the last case of the night. And it's Brian Koberger, and we have two things on him tonight.
Yeah.
All right, the first one is, so Brian Koberger, remember he recently asked to withdraw his guilty plea So he has been granted 2 days in court next year as part of his petition for post-conviction relief. So Judge Stephen Hippler is same judge who accepted Koberger's guilty plea in July of 2025, set a status conference for June 3rd, 2027, and an evidentiary hearing on June 17th, 2027. So Koberger will be back in court. This does not guarantee he will get a new trial. I just want to make that clear. It is the judge's discretion, but the judge is doing his due diligence to look and possibly give him the opportunity, which again, it's Brian Koberger's legal right to do so. So next June. Does this mean he's going to be out of the news until then? No, and we know that, which leads to the second thing. So Brian Koberger's neuropsychological evaluation and diagnoses has been unsealed by the court. So we have learned that he has been diagnosed with 4 mental health disorders, and that is autism level 1. I haven't finished my sentence, but what, Beckham?
I just said wow, like
okay. Autism
Holy
level 1,
smokes.
OCD, ADHD, and I have not heard of this before, ARIFD, so ARFID. And I'll explain what each of those are. So the first one, autism spectrum disorder level 1. In a nutshell, without accompanying intellectual or language impairment, individuals with that diagnosis tend to be high functioning and display only a few symptoms of the disorder and often require no assistance to perform everyday tasks. OCD, obsessive compulsive disorder, which is what we witness every single Friday night with Beckham with the fucking dice, which I hear now. It is typically characterized by an individual engaging in repetitive behaviors in an attempt to shut out unwanted, intrusive thoughts. Beckham, what are your unwanted, intrusive thoughts? Is it safe to say on air? What are your unwanted, intrusive thoughts?
What are my unwanted, intrusive thoughts? I don't like. That's a negative. I'm just a positive guy, man. I welcome everything and everybody, and to share. We all do great things together. Yeah.
I don't know who you just described, but that's not the Beckham I know.
What?
So let's move on. ADHD, attention deficit hyperactivity disorder. It manifests in a number of ways, varying from person to person. A majority of these diagnosed struggle to pay attention, while others struggle to stay organized, keep a schedule, or stay focused on a specific task. Last one, the ARFID. I did not know what that was. Avoidant restrictive food intake disorder. It's an eating disorder. This disorder manifests in eating habits that greatly limit an individual's diet and can result in malnutrition and limit a person's physical growth. We also learned, just to wrap it up in a pretty bow, that Koberger had also met the criteria for 4 additional diagnoses in the past. So DCD, developmental coordination disorder, an unspecified depressive disorder, anorexia nervosa, and then OUD, opioid use disorder. So we learned quite a bit about Brian Koberger and his neuropsychological diagnoses. Any thoughts on this, Beckham?
I mean, it's a lot. I mean, my surprise, no, but what is the validity to it all, though, right?
I mean,
Say it, Danny, say it.
With these being unsealed now, and Koberger knowing that they're unsealed, and him trying to get a new trial because he's going to say he didn't understand that saying guilty means the court's going to say you're good. Do I think he's going to use these to his advantage in trying to argue for another trial? 100%.
Yeah.
He's already thrown his counsel under the bus saying that they weren't clear to him. But yeah, like you said, it didn't shock me. I'm actually kind of surprised there weren't a few additional things that I thought might have been there. Like antisocial personality disorder. I really thought that one would be on there. I've never met him, so again, I can't like who am I to officially diagnose him with stuff? I thought there'd be more in regards to that type of diagnoses or something similar to that, and there wasn't, and that actually really surprised me. But nonetheless, um, let's see. Well, you guys have a few comments on this. Well, Tony has some comments for James. Yeah, James, he's been all right. You guys are funny. K-Dog says, I doubt this goes anywhere. I think, are you meaning to Koberger having new court dates next year in regards to requesting a new trial? I agree. It just, I was having this conversation with who was I having this conversation with? Was it a coworker? I don't know. But in regards to why Koberger's doing this, like, to me, it's a mix of, and then back on what, like, what do you think? A part of me's thinking he wants the last word. He didn't get a last word. What was it? Kaylee's sister or Maggie's sister ripped him a new one.
Yeah.
And he's had time to just sit on it. And now he can have the last word. It puts him in a position of control in some small way, meaning control over the victims' families, because now this isn't done. They have to potentially go through a trial, and all like the way their loved ones died were fucking horrific. And now to have, if he gets a new trial, or even the stress of leading up to next year for almost a whole friggin' year. They have to, what if? Going to court day after day after day, that possibility of having to talk about their loved one being brutally murdered and the manner in which it was done and the autopsy and this, that's a lot. And for the victims to even have to entertain that that's a possibility for almost a year, is it that death? Yeah, okay, I remember it was with a coworker that I had this conversation. What she had mentioned, her thoughts was that, he's in, being on death row. He avoided the death penalty by pleading guilty, so now he's basically in Gen Pop, and prison isn't what he thought it would be.
I'm going with that more.
Harassed,
right. I'm going with that one more.
He can't get his special vegan meals. You gave that right away when you murdered 4 people, in my opinion, but that's okay. Maybe, if he's on death row, he's in a totally different part of prison and he's more isolated. And where he is right now, Gen Pop, for the rest of his life, maybe he's not what he bargained for.
Yeah.
So, Steve Harris, and he is an asshole. Love it. Straight to the point. Nobody can put out James Watson's fire tonight. Oh, God. My best friends are my intrusive thoughts. I saw that comment earlier, and I actually really love that. I think that. I like that. Firefly calls BS on all of it. Some of your friends talk behind your back. I mean, I know Beckham talks behind my back almost every fucking day, but
what?
I'm guessing it's nothing but love and just, oh my God, Danny's so amazing. And I'm okay with that. Right, Beckham? I'm okay with that. That's my thought, and I'm sticking to it. I don't think he acted alone. That's something that a lot of people have been thinking for a while. Yeah. And he never had to say a word when he pled. So K-Dog, it almost seems impossible for him to do it alone, but I guess he could have. They say he did it between the hours of 4:10, 4:20. Go listen to the 2:26 a.m. scream. I mean, this wouldn't make a difference now, but if this goes to trial, Becca, me and you have talked about, oh God, this goes back, the house being torn down, you know? I mean, him pleading guilty, would the house have gotten torn down after? Yeah. Yeah. But I just go back to that. There's just, I think that house being still standing would have, I think, given a lot to the state to work with and the jury to work with if it goes that far that he gets a new trial. Yeah.
I don't know. Do you think he does?
I don't think he's going to get one.
Yeah, I don't think so either.
I feel like all hell will break loose if he gets one. Not that that's a reason for it not to happen, but I don't know. It's like I feel like stuff happens in the realm of like true crime, like in regards to trials and cases and this, and then some of the stuff, it blows my mind where I'm like, how did we get there? How did this happen? So at the end of the day, plea deals really get changed. You're right. You're right. It's just like a little part of me's like, could he get another trial? He could.
I mean, that's part of me, but I don't think so.
There was a house next door, 1122 King Road, 1112, and there was a doorbell cam with audio footage. The screams are horrific. Yeah, that we can easily find online. So, all right, we are a little over 2 hour 15 minutes. We had a long freaking show tonight, Beckham.
Yeah.
All
long one. Sorry, I kind of ran it on the Tupac thing, but
don't apologize. This is what, Beckham, you are here predominantly to be a pretty face, predominantly to fund the candle company that you are partnered with that I just don't know about yet, I'm sure. And every once in a while you talk and you give some words of encouragement, some gems, so on and so forth. I'm tired. I think I was trying to set up a joke and I just totally failed. So let's just pretend that one didn't happen. So next week's show, I'm thinking it will be Tuesday. Because I got something going on Monday. Your girl's being interviewed for another YouTube channel. So I will be doing that interview. Once they do post that, I will share that with y'all so y'all can go and check that out. So that means, again.
Wait, is there a True Crime and Chill next Friday night?
So next week is Labor Day weekend. I'm around.
Oh, that's right. Around. Okay.
So if people are around and want to have one still next Friday, September 4th, that works for me. But yeah, if you have plans or if people have plans and they're like, no, then that's fine too. No. All right, everyone. All right. So, thank you, everybody, for joining us for the weekly True Crime and Chill. Thank you, Beckham, for being here as always and for breaking down what happened or what didn't happen during the Tupac trial.
Oh, man.
K-Dog, why? Why do you hate us so much? I will research this. So, all right. We'll see y'all next week. We will keep you posted on both the Tupac, if we get a verdict, and then Lindsay Clancy, if there's a verdict as well. Everybody enjoy the rest of your weekend. And remember, until next time, we don't live in darkness. Darkness lives in us. Bye, everyone.